Kim Sauer, What's New in Electronics live in the What's New in Electronics TV studio. Welcome to our panel debate today on innovation as a competitive advantage. I've got a great panel with me. It's Michael Ford from Mentor Graphics and Patrick Blunsdon, who is an independent consultant. Welcome. So let's start with innovation. Let's define innovation, because surely people have different views as to what that actually means.
Innovation is something that makes a differentiation between companies. If you were, for example, to go out and create a new manufacturing company today, you would have a certain budget, and you're then free to buy whatever machines are available on the market. Everybody has the same choices, same machines, same technologies, same kind of people, same kind of skills. And so we could see a kind of cookie-cutter approach for a manufacturing company. But how is that company then supposed to compete? So which machines do you buy? How do you train and inspire the people to work in a better way? What kind of systems do you use to achieve what you want that's going to be better than anybody else? And that's how you then carve your part of the business out and how you succeed. So that's what innovation is about. We have new technologies these days, and we need to really use those to create the innovation, to create that differentiation.
I agree, but let's look at innovation and the idea. So in the workplace, you will have an idea, and those ideas are only successfully implemented 5% of the time, right? They need to be successful. The innovation part of that process is where the experience of professionals such as engineers, supply chain experts, so on and so forth, work with the people who's actually created the idea to implement it. Now that's what I see as innovation, okay? It's the end-to-end supply chain and the end-to-end implementation of those ideas.
Excellent. Well, already the two views really, you described the manufacturing environment, the purchasing of machines, the putting together of processes in order to differentiate on an innovative style, whereas my interpretation of what you're saying is it goes throughout the supply chain, beyond the supply chain to the customer, and actually therefore to product innovation and back down the supply chain as to how that's brought to market?
Yes, but in the workplace, for example, many companies have suggestion boxes, okay? Put in a good idea, we'll probably get you a free lunch, all right? How that idea is then implemented, which is the actual part of the innovation, is the key aspect of it. Otherwise, it just isn't going to work.
That is so frustrating. I mean, having worked in a manufacturing company for 26 years, you know where ideas come from. The ideas come from the people who are experienced at what they do. They understand how things are supposed to work. They don't like to be told how things will work in a way that's not optimum for them and not optimum for the business. So, you know, the ability to get ideas turned into real innovations, as you described them, which is the seeing through of the idea to a actual tangible benefit, that's something that actually is missing in most cases, I would agree.
Absolutely. Therefore, innovation as a concept should become part of the fabric of a company, particularly going forward in this day and age. It needs to be budgeted. It's not just a nice to have. If you're really serious as a business leader about innovation, you should budget it, you should encourage it, even have a separate department for it, all right? Where these ideas coming from the shop floor, from frustrated operators or engineers, and actually put into practice with an innovation team that can put in, cost it, and see what the value is at the end of that implementation method.
So now you're talking strategy. Basically, you're integrating innovation into your corporate strategy, into the way you communicate. Now, on various discussions that we've had here at the show, we've talked about the glue of the manufacturing industry and how that looks in the UK, and innovation to me is something maybe that a lot of people find it's quite difficult to implement because it's change, it's something new, it's doing something in a different way that we're not used to, and by default a lot of people who've been in the industry for very long want to do the same thing over and over again the way we've always done it. Maybe I'm wrong in that interpretation, but do we face barriers? Are we talking about innovation in the right way? And is there actually opportunity and real opportunity to implement it in the way we're talking about now?
You're completely correct. I think risk is the enemy of innovation. And, a simple example would be, let's talk about just-in-time materials. I mean, this is a technology that's been around since the 1990s. People understand that you should only deliver materials to the machines when they're needed. And yet, we look at most companies today, are they doing that? No. Why? Because the material manager knows that the way he does it works. Now, it may not be the most efficient, but he knows he'll keep his machines running. Now, you come to him with a whole new technology, a whole new idea. You've got computers here. You've got all of this kind of stuff happening. And he's facing a horror scenario here because he knows that if one material goes astray or is unaccounted for, the production lines are going to stop and it's going to be his fault. So innovation beyond the trivial requires an awful lot of planning and analysis, budgeting, all of the preparation that we're talking about. So, it's not spur of the moment innovation. It's actually planned innovation. It comes from an idea, but it has to be developed and implemented.
Not that I want to quote Darwin, but didn't he mention about it's not the strongest that survive, it's about the adaptability to change. So people have to do that, but companies have to do that. Therefore, if they don't, again, make it a part of the fabric of their strategy going forward and encourage innovation, encourage ideas, get that idea implemented and thought through on what it's going to bring to the customer, what it's going to bring to the bottom line, and the motivation for those people inside the workplace will be immense. But it's not just that. It's how those companies then collaborate with technical schools, universities, innovation centres. Not just maybe around their particular company, it could be within the country, it could be offshore even. If you've got particular skills, products, processes that are used offshore, and you build partnerships with those particular types of companies, then that's what I really call an open innovation model that can be successful.
I think that we've got an opportunity right now. There is a catalyst that's been happening in the industry for a long time. We see now that people are buying mobile phones and devices which are very highly personalized, customized. We see huge increase in variants coming in, and we see the need for factories to be both efficient and flexible. This is a kind of a business driver toward innovation. And whatever the ideas that manufacturers have, whatever solutions are considered, they have to be grounded in the fact that this is going to deliver a benefit and an advantage. But there are so many challenges we have. We just talked about Brexit, but we talk about automation, we talk about Industry 4.0, we talk about the kind of introduction of technology into China, where they're actually pulling ahead faster than we are here in the UK. There are so many opportunities that we can start to address that balance, and they drive in toward innovation. So innovation needs to happen, and the risks need to be assessed, and plans need to be made so that we can mitigate the risks and actually move forward.
Mm-hmm. So bottom line is those that don't innovate aren't going to survive in this marketplace, in this world.
In my opinion, if they don't innovate, they're going to get left behind. They may survive based on brand and reputation, but what's very important as an innovation company is you're going to keep up with the competition, but ultimately you want to be in front of it. Now, innovation isn't all about a product. You can have innovations to improve your processes. How can we make things more efficient? How can we really delight the customer?
That then feeds in the Industry 4.0 aspect, which everybody's talking about. Some people are implementing already. Some people are just talking about on a conceptual level, but it's certainly going into that direction. So innovation is clearly here to stay. People are involved in that. And we have mentioned some of the customers, and actually when you read about electronics, there's a lot of startups that are coming up with very innovative products that are being manufactured by the people that might still be resisting innovation. Do you think there's going to be some cross-pollination between those startups, those innovators on the end product side, to actually put pressure onto their manufacturing partners and say, look guys, come out of the Stone Age and start developing something that is more innovative, because we want this product to be in the market now and faster than ever?
a lot of the brands have innovation inside their company, and that's what's called closed innovation. So it's very secretive. It's their intellectual property. They don't want to share with anybody. Again, that's down to the product level. When we have open innovation, right, where we can go outside the particular company, integrate, partner with other businesses, right, and innovation schools, for me, that is the way forward, without a doubt.
That's a collaboration you were talking about. Collaboration,
Absolutely.
again, an Industry 4.0 smart factory initiative where we're talking beyond the factory, well, beyond the machines, beyond the factory boundaries. That's a whole subject in itself with lots of different aspects to it. So what do we need to do as a UK industry to promote attitudes and changes in ways that we work to, and that feeds into the discussion we had about Brexit, actually, to make our industry competitive as a whole, but then obviously individual companies be competitive on their own within a marketplace through innovation. What do we need to do? What tools do we have? How do we implement them?
I think it's a lot to do with confidence. Where any kind of change is going to happen, where there's a risk going to be brought in, people need to be assured that it can work. And this is how it's going to work. This is why it's going to work. Here are the skills that you need to make it work. Skills, for example, that's a key question. We don't have manufacturing skills. People are crying out, and that's rubbish. We do have manufacturing skills. Unfortunately, they're kind of lodged with the older people in the industry. But they are the prime kind of people who can teach the new technique or the, let's say, the basic industrial engineering fundamentals to newcomers in the industry. But those newcomers have to then take it and say, well, look, this is not the old days. This is the new way that we're going to be working, and they need to have that encouragement. So with confidence and encouragement, where people can really believe that something can be different from the same way as we've been doing it for years and years and years, once we see examples of that coming through, then more and more people will do it. It'll be like a snowball effect. So, this kind of cooperation, I think we are in an age where we do need to cooperate as an industry to help each other, whether it's by communication standards or the specific technologies that we all use. And we can become a great UK working as a team because, you have an individual, you have a department, you have a company, you have a country. We're all part of this hierarchy of a family that should work together. And this kind of approach needs to happen in the UK. It was there before, I think many years ago. We need to reinvent that in a way that follows the innovation of today.
Absolutely, to me, is communication. Right? So you've got children in schools, colleges, then on to university. And some people may go into innovation centres. But for me, if you look at companies, they should be advertising for people that want to join them that are creative, okay? Right? Whether it be processes, whether it be products. And if you're a contract electronic manufacturer that doesn't actually make your own product, wouldn't it be great that you've got a couple of people inside your facility because you've got a specialized department that is being creative and can have an innovative idea to go to your customer with and say, look what we've done. We can improve your cost, or we can improve your process or your customer and your product by these subtle changes. I think that's the way forward.
Mm-hmm. So really, again, collaboration, communication, and being close to your customers as well, to your internal team. Thank you very much for your time today. Great discussion, and I enjoyed it very much. Thank you very much for participating.